This kind of camera is an automatic film camera, and this is a Canon, and you can see the lens on the front here. On this camera, the lens has a little option on the side that you should make sure that you check, and it says AF and then there's an M next to it, and it's like a little switch. And AF is for autofocus, so if you have the switch turned to autofocus, when you take your picture and you hold down the shutter release button, the camera will focus for you. If you have it on manual, you have to use the focusing ring to focus your image. You can use either. Looking at the back of the camera, there's a digital display here. If I flip the camera up, we have a mode dial. It's set to off, and there's a lot of different settings on here, but if you just turn it to the green rectangle, you're on auto settings. And then when I flip the camera up again, you can see this is the digital display. The hot shoe is right here. The shutter release button is over here. It looks a little different than on the manual cameras. And there's some other settings here. So first open the camera back. So pull down on this little switch and open the back of the camera. Kind of the same setup as before. This is where your film goes. This is the shutter door, don't touch that. And then your film gets loaded to the right-hand side. But it's a little different and it's a little easier actually. So I'm gonna get out my film. Here's my film. I'm gonna load it in the same way. Film goes on the left side, the shiny side up, so that the dull side, the emulsion side, will face the shutter door. This one you kind of have to angle in and then press it in. An automatic camera will automatically recognize the film speed, so you don't have to set that. One thing that I should mention too, when you load your camera, make sure that your camera is off. So this is off. Now what I'm going to do is pull out the film, and you don't want to pull out the film too much. If it bubbles over too much, then the film won't load. So you just want to make sure that it lays flat across the back. And down here on the right hand side, there's either going to be a little triangle or a little orange line, and that is trying to tell you that that's where the tail of your film goes. So I have this pressed flat all the way over, and I've got the very end of the tail just tucked in there. And I'm going to close the camera back, make sure it latches shut. And then I'm going to turn the mode dial to the green rectangle. And you can see that the film is counting up. So this counter is the opposite of a manual camera. Instead of counting, starting at 0 and counting up, this one counts down. So you can see this one has 25 exposures. And so that's, you usually have an extra one. I'm gonna turn this camera off so I don't waste the battery. When you are finished taking your pictures, this camera will automatically roll up your film. So you'll hear a big noise, and don't be alarmed because it's supposed to do that. It's rolling the film all the way back into the canister. The manual cameras, you have to manually roll it up, which I will show you how to do that. So when you're finished, you just bring your camera back and we'll go from there.